You've been asking God why. Why did that relationship end? Why did that door close? Why did that person betray you? Why did that opportunity fall through? Why have you been so faithful and yet nothing seems to be working out the way you prayed it would? And the confusion, the uncertainty, the not knowing has been weighing on you heavily. You've been trying desperately to make sense of things that don't make any sense at all. I need you to hear this. Everything is about to make sense. The pieces you couldn't connect are about to come together. The confusion you've been carrying is about to turn into clarity. And when you see the bigger picture, when you understand how every single thing that happened was working together for your good, you're going to be overwhelmed by God's faithfulness. Right now, you're in the waiting room. You're in that uncomfortable in-between space. You're not where you used to be, but you're not where you're going yet. And it's disorienting. It's frustrating. It's lonely. You can't go back to who you were because that person no longer exists. But you can't step forward into who you're becoming until God says it's time. Here's what I need you to understand about this season. God's timing is not random. It's strategic. Every delay has been intentional. Every closed door has been purposeful. Every no you received was protection from a yes that would have hurt you. God has been orchestrating something so specific, so perfectly aligned with His plan for your life, that if even one thing had happened differently or on a different timeline, the whole thing would have fallen apart. You've been faithful through things that should have destroyed your faith. You've kept believing when the evidence was screaming at you to give up. You've kept praying when it felt like God wasn't listening. You've kept moving forward when everything in you wanted to quit. And it's felt like your faithfulness hasn't been producing any results. But that's not true. Your faithfulness has been building something you can't see yet. Character, endurance, unshakable trust. And all of that is going to matter when what God has for you finally manifests. Let me tell you something about confusion. It's not always a bad sign. Sometimes confusion is evidence that you're transitioning from one level to another. Your mind hasn't caught up to where your spirit is going. Your understanding hasn't expanded yet to hold the vision God is giving you. There's a gap between what you know and what God knows. And that gap creates disorientation. But the disorientation is temporary. The clarity is coming. There's a reason certain things in your life had to fall apart. That relationship that ended, that job you lost, that friendship that dissolved, that opportunity that didn't work out. At the time, it felt like devastating loss. It felt like failure. It felt like rejection. But what if I told you those weren't losses at all? What if I told you those were rescues? God saw something you couldn't see. He saw the trap waiting for you. He saw the pain that was coming if you stayed on that path. He saw the detour that would have cost you years. And He loved you enough to block it before you walked into it. You've also been wondering why certain people left your life. People you thought were your forever people. People you trusted completely. People you invested deeply in. And their departure hurt. It still hurts. But here's what God wants you to know. Not everyone is meant to go with you into your next season. Some people were assigned to a specific chapter of your life, not the whole story. And when their purpose in your life is complete, God removes them, not to hurt you, but to make room for the people who are meant to be there for what's coming next. Here's what's about to happen. In the next few weeks, you're going to start seeing things click into place. Connections you couldn't make before are suddenly going to make sense. Doors that closed are going to reveal why they had to close. People who left are going to show you why they couldn't stay. Opportunities that didn't work out are going to clear the way for something better than you originally wanted. But here's the challenging part. You are going to have to trust the process even when you can't see the progress. You are going to have to believe God is working even when you can't see any evidence of it. You are going to have to hold on to faith even when your feelings are screaming at you to let go. Because the moment you give up is often the moment right before everything breaks through. The enemy knows that. That's why the attacks intensify right before your shift. Let me tell you what God has been doing while you've been waiting. He's been preparing you for something bigger than what you've been praying for. You've been asking Him for one thing, but He's been setting up something else, something better, something that requires more maturity, more strength, more wisdom than you had when you first started praying. The wait has been necessary. You're not the same person you were when this journey started. You've grown, you've changed, you've been refined, and now you're ready for what you weren't ready for before. There's also something God has been protecting you from during this season: counterfeits, cheap imitations of what He's promised you. The enemy has been trying to give you substitutes, relationships that looked right but weren't aligned, opportunities that seemed good but would have taken you off course. And God has been blocking all of it because He knows that if you settle for less than His best, you'll spend the rest of your life regretting it. Here's what I need you to do starting right now. Stop trying to figure everything out. Stop demanding that God explain Himself. Stop forcing clarity before it's ready to come. Just trust Him. Trust that He knows what He's doing. Trust that He sees what you can't see. Trust that He's working behind the scenes even when it looks like nothing is happening. The moment you release control and surrender to His timing, things start moving in ways you could never move them yourself. In the next 24 hours, write down 3 things that have confused you, 3 situations that don't make sense, 3 questions you've been asking God. Write them down. Then pray this over each one. God, I don't understand this, but I trust You. I release my need to know why. I release my need to control the outcome. I surrender this into Your hands, and I believe that when the time is right, You will reveal what I need to know. Pray that. Then let it go. Stop replaying it in your mind. Stop trying to solve it. Stop losing sleep over it. Trust that God has it. And watch what happens when you release it. The weight will lift. The clarity will come. The peace will settle into places where you've been anxious. Everything is about to make sense. Not all at once, but piece by piece, you're going to start seeing the bigger picture. You're going to start understanding why things happened the way they did. And when you see it, you're going to be so grateful that God didn't give you what you wanted when you wanted it. Because what He's giving you now is so much better. The confusion is temporary. The clarity is coming. And when it arrives, you're going to look back at this season and realize that the waiting wasn't wasted. It was necessary. It was purposeful. It was part of the plan. Everything that felt like it was falling apart was actually falling into place. Trust God's timing, even when it doesn't make sense, even when it's taking longer than you expected, even when it looks like nothing is happening. God is never late. He's never early. He's always precisely on time. And His timing is perfect, even when it doesn't feel like it. Your breakthrough is closer than you think. Your answers are coming. Your clarity is on the way. And everything that's been confusing you is about to make perfect sense. Hold on just a little longer. What God is about to reveal is going to blow your mind and confirm that He's been with you every single step of the way. And when that clarity finally comes, when everything clicks into place, I want you to do something. Help someone else who's in the place you are in right now. Someone who's confused. Someone who's questioning God's timing. Someone who feels like nothing makes sense. Share your story. Tell them how you waited and how God came through. Because your testimony might be exactly what keeps them from giving up right before their breakthrough. God doesn't waste any experience. He's going to use everything you went through, including all the confusion and waiting, to help someone else. That's how His kingdom works. We receive so we can give. We are comforted so we can comfort others. Your season of confusion is creating your future ministry of encouragement. So embrace where you are. Don't rush through it. Let it do its complete work in you. Because on the other side of this confusion is a clarity so deep, a faith so strong, and a testimony so powerful that it will carry you through every future challenge. Everything will make sense soon. And when it does, you'll be grateful for every confusing moment because you'll see how it all worked together to bring you exactly where you needed to be. The season you're in right now is not your final season. This is not where your story ends. This is just a chapter, and every chapter serves a purpose in the larger narrative of your life. This chapter is building something in you that the next chapter requires. So don't try to skip it. Don't try to rush through it. Live it fully. Learn from it deeply. Trust that when this chapter closes, the next one is going to exceed anything you imagined. Everything will make sense soon. The pieces are already coming together. The clarity is already on its way. The breakthrough is already in motion. Just hold on. Keep trusting, keep believing, and watch what God does when you refuse to give up, even when nothing makes sense. Your moment of clarity is coming, and it's going to be worth every moment of confusion you endured to get there. Trust God's timing. It's perfect. Even when it doesn't feel like it, everything will make sense. Just watch. One more encouragement I want to give you. This season of confusion is actually a gift in disguise. It's forcing you to trust God at a deeper level than you've ever had to trust Him before. It's pushing you to lean on Him instead of your own understanding. And that deeper trust, that stronger dependence is exactly what you're going to need for where He's taking you next. If everything made sense right now, if you could figure it all out on your own, you wouldn't need God the way you need Him in this moment. But He wants you to need Him. He wants you to depend on Him. He wants you to trust Him even when you can't see the path forward. Because that kind of trust unlocks the deepest levels of intimacy with Him. And that intimacy is more valuable than the answers you are seeking. So instead of fighting the confusion, what if you rested in it? What if you trusted that God has everything figured out even when you don't? What if you believed that His plan is better than anything you could devise for yourself? That kind of surrender positions you to receive everything He has for you. And here's what I know about God's timing. It's always perfect. Even when it doesn't feel like it. Even when it seems like He's late. Even when you think He's forgotten. He's never late. He's never early. He's always exactly on time. And when His timing manifests, when the breakthrough comes, when the clarity arrives, you're going to see that if it had come any earlier, you wouldn't have been ready for it. And if it had come any later, the impact wouldn't have been as powerful. God's timing is strategic. It's intentional. It's calculated down to the smallest detail. And it's always working in your favor, even when it feels like it's working against you. So trust it. Even when you don't understand it. Even when it frustrates you. Even when you wish things would move faster. The God who loves you is orchestrating everything for your good and for His glory. I also want you to understand that this waiting season is preparing you to steward the blessing when it comes. Blessings that arrive too early often get mishandled. Resources that show up before you're ready often get wasted. Opportunities that manifest before you're mature enough often get fumbled. God is protecting you from the danger of premature blessing by making you wait until you're truly ready. The delay isn't denial. The wait isn't rejection. The confusion isn't abandonment. It's all preparation. It's all positioning. It's all part of getting you ready for something bigger and better than what you've been asking for. And when it finally manifests, when everything comes together, when it all makes sense, you're going to be so grateful that God didn't give you what you wanted when you wanted it. because what He's giving you now is exactly what you need, exactly when you need it. Everything will make sense soon. Trust the process. Trust the timing. Trust the God who's been orchestrating it all. Your confusion is temporary. Your clarity is eternal. And your breakthrough is guaranteed. Just hold on. And when everything makes sense, when you finally see the full picture, you're going to understand why every closed door had to close, why every person had to leave, why every opportunity had to fall through. You're going to see that God was protecting you, redirecting you, and positioning you the entire time. And your faith is going to become sight. So don't give up now. Don't quit when you're this close. Don't let the confusion steal your hope. Everything is about to make sense. The waiting is almost over. The clarity is right around the corner. And the breakthrough you've been believing for is closer than it's ever been. Trust God's timing. It's perfect. Everything will make sense soon. Just watch. Everything is falling into place. The confusion is lifting. And your moment of clarity is here. Trust Him completely. Everything will make sense. Your breakthrough is here. Hold on. Everything makes sense now.